Hello there, folks. It's been a minute. So what we're working on today on the old Crawford is a drawbar for the Induma milling machine. That is, well, ignore the U-bolt rod notes. I couldn't actually find a piece of U-bolt rod that I didn't have to buy 10 pieces of to get one. So, I have this Meritor air brake camshaft, which is longer than what I required. So, we are in the midst of turning it down. Got the live center in the end of the cam. That S shape, that's what rocks back and forth inside the drum brake assembly of the truck's air brakes, and it moves the shoes in and out. Yeah, so I put the parting tool in there, notched it down a little bit, so that gives me something to start with. Each depth of cut is 30 marks. You know what? I don't know if that's thousandths or not. Probably. I've never actually tried to measure that yet. One day I will. But anywho, I'm gonna take down the shaft to 1/2 inch, because that's pretty much what slips down inside the spindle of the Induma milling machine. And just because of how my arrangement works, I can only go to there before the carriage gets really close to the dangerous bits. So when I get that down, I'll spin things around and then clean that off. And this is probably going to be fairly close to the last thing I chop off, because I want to get that material off so I can part it off, throw the S head away because it's going to be a paperweight or scrap really, and then I can thread that end with the 7/16 fine thread I need for the R8 collets that I keep ordering for the mill, and then I'll flip it and finish cleaning off the material. Inside the chuck right now is that end of the shaft is 10 spline, really big splines, huge. So that's, well, I'm hoping I don't have to turn all of it down. Hopefully it's just a chunk, and then the rest I can part off, because that'll be one ugly interrupted cut if I have to do that. I'm really hoping I don't have to. Yeah, so that's what we're up to today in Dragon's Fire. Isn't that trippy? Like, you can see the spline count. I hope this shows up in the camera. That's rad. Oh, I should probably put the camera down so I can do the thing for reset. Almost there. Carefuling. Okay, I'm definitely turning it off. I'm having second thoughts about what I want to do to drive this. And the reason why I say that is I don't own the tooling I need to work this in the mill to give it a hexagonal nut shape right here. So I've got a couple of ideas. One, because this is basically like, that's where the end of the shaft is. So this would be, this area here would basically be a washer, like, you know, flat surface, whatever. The nut would be here. So first idea is lob that off once I'm done doing all the other stuff. Lob that off, and then turn this down so that, like, I can, for lack of a better term, turn it down so that a standard, like, nut like that would slip over the shaft, and then I could either drill it and pin it, or excuse me, or drill a hole, TIG weld it, something to affix the nut to the shaft. So that's option one. Option two is I keep turning this down, keep the 10 spline. So that's what this is. This is a 10 spline shaft. This is a air brake cam, just to review, an air brake cam for a trailer. So the mechanism that slips over this is called a slack adjuster, and that is the mechanical contrivance that basically when you step on your brakes in a big truck like a semi, the air pressure goes through, a plunger is applied, and it twists or lever actions on the slack adjuster, and the slack obviously is splined like this, and it rotates this cam, which then twists that S that's no longer on this cam, and that pushes the brake shoes out. I can harvest an old slack adjuster from work for the I believe it's called a pawl in that term. Excuse me. I can harvest the slack for that splined hub. Actually, ooh, hold on. I have one, so to give you an idea of what it looks like. Right here on my hammer. It's a hammer, trust me. So this is the inside gut of the slack adjuster. This here, when mechanics adjust these, these teeth rotate to set the preload or adjustment, I guess it is, inside the slack adjuster's guts, the ratchet mechanism. So there you can see the 10 splines. And so my thought would be to get one of these guys, turn the outside of it down so that it'll slip inside a socket, obviously probably a 1/2 inch drive, so I get a big one, and then TIG weld that inside the socket so I could still buzz it with an impact gun. So there's that idea. I'm gonna chew on it. I'm thinking about it. Not quite sure. It would be cooler, I guess. And I wouldn't have to muck with this. Now, the only downside of doing that is the banging motion, I think eventually would wear the spline out on this. Because these aren't meant to be impacted, right? They're just meant to be turned. So, yeah, I'll think about this. But yeah, I wanted to share. It's coming along nicely. Check out the surface finish from this button insert. That's not shabby. No, I don't know what RPM I'm spinning at or anything, but it is really smooth to the touch. Like it's not as nice as that, but it's damn close. I know my phone's not really picking it up, but it's really nice. Well, the new drawbar is coming along nice. I didn't stop quite short enough. This is actually splined here, where there's going to basically be a flat surface that sits on top of the spindle. Nah, not the end of the world. But I love these button inserts. These things are great. I'm not taking a very deep cut. Just a little bit at a time. I'm not in a hurry. Even that's not the total dimension I need to go down to. Frame rate must be right on. I can make out the splines here in the camera. That's kind of cool. So, drawbar pretty much done. I had to do some fine-tune hand filing with it spinning away there at maximum RPMs. First with a flat bastard rough, and then a fine file to tune the OD down so that this thing would drop through the spindle of the Induma. And Small boo-boo on my part, but it's going to work out good. Let me explain. So what I'm doing here on this terrible interrupted cut, that this awesome big triangle insert, it literally gives no shits. It hasn't buzzed. I was worried I was going to make enough racket to upset neighbors. It's 10 o'clock at night right now. Oh, look at that. Oh, okay, so take two. Did you know that if you're using a Samsung phone while in, I guess it's panorama mode, and you hit the volume up button, you will stop recording, but you can also restart recording. So here we are. This is take two. So drawbar is done. It fits down the spindle beautifully, nice and smooth. This amazing trigon insert. It's three-sided and six-tipped. I can flip this upside down and get 3 more cutting ends, so it's pretty awesome. It doesn't care about this interrupted cut on the 10 spline of this air brake camshaft. I'm in what the transmission considers is third lowest gear. No, second lowest gear. It's in 3. 1 is fast, 4 is slow. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. So it's in third range. Let's call it that. It's in third range at maximum RPMs, which is on that thing it says 788. I need to tune that in. Anyway, so uninterrupted cut. The reason why I'm doing this, I'm going to take this OD down to just shy of an inch with a depth of 1 inch. And the reason being, I move slowly to not make people sick. The reason being is when I wind up my all-thread rod drawbar, measured it out, well, I went from the bottom of the washer to the tip, which gave me from there to there. Now, the more astute of you can probably tell, I'm careful, that washer fits inside the 1 inch bore on the top of the Induma. So in fact, I cut the bar, or sorry, the shaft of the drawbar about 1 inch too short, because all of this fits inside the spindle. This is what my impact driver would spin. These are just spacers. So here I was, I test fit this thing. I'm like, oh great, it fits. I grab a collet, pop it up. Why isn't it engaging? Oh no. And then it hit me. I missed the detail. I'm not an idiot. I just missed it. But it works out good in the end, because now I'm going to cut this down to the 1 inch OD, 1 inch depth, and it will drop inside the spindle, further helping keep things nice and centered. Makes it happy. In other news, I have collated the spline drive. Now this is out of a slack adjuster made by Haldex. That doesn't matter. What matters is these guys match. So here I was pondering, how am I going to make this thing spin a thing? That's not a part of the equation. So I was like, well, let's see. I could probably just buy a socket from Princess Auto, weld that in there, and I'm fine. But I have this old 12 point socket that I no longer need, because well, this is out of a box of tools that a customer of mine gave me. He had a whole pile of random copies, and he says, hey man, want some free tools to make shit out of? And I said, damn straight. So it's not impact grade, That doesn't matter. It's not like this thing needs to see, you know, thousands of pounds or hundreds of pounds of torque. It's tightening collets, folks. It doesn't need to be insane. I was given a box of scrap machine shop bits failures from a friend of mine that used to work in a machine shop in Vancouver. Check this out. It's a little play, like minute, so minute. Better yet, see where I'm going with this? So I'm gonna cut myself probably a 10 mil collar, part this off so all I have is the square drive, because that's all we need, and then I'll have a spline drive for my drawbar. Okay, so maybe now my concept is starting to make sense, seem a little clearer. So we got the end. This guy goes in there. Oh, hang on. Flip that shit around. Ta-da! 110 spline drive. So now I will clean all this shit up and start taking it together. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty, but it's going to work. Alright, so we're back probably for the last installment of this drawbar adventure. I have it all welded up. I took the liberty of cleaning up my shoddy TIG welds. Whoa, that really spins. Anyways, all three pieces are buttoned up. You might notice there's an adapter there, because I realized I want to use a butterfly impact on this eventually. So the plan is, you've probably seen it if you're into machining stuff and videos, there's guys that have done how-tos on how to mount one of these butterfly impacts to the top of a Bridgeport or Bridgeport cone mill. So when I realized, or remembered I should say, that, oh crap, that butterfly is 3/8, I had to prep another socket. So I've got a 1/2 inch impact gun here with an adapter, does the same job, and I'm quite happy with the results, I gotta say. Let's just show you here. So it engages pretty quick. I'm happy with that. And I've buzzed a collet in and out a couple of times. My tap and die cut thread cutting on the 7/16 fine thread on the drawbar seems to be good. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we've got her nailed. So, because eventually this will be on that butterfly gun, and I'm gonna have kind of a rig that's basically gonna mount to the top here, and I'll be able to pull it down and then whack the arm left or right for up and down, and I won't have to reach up with a gun anymore. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Anyways, cheers.